Nope, 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 nope. Can't stay here anymore. I gotta get back. I think this was the spot. Oh Lord, I beseech thee, please return me to my old life. I swear I'll do anything. Like, literally anything. And I won't bother you again, so pretty please bring me back to life.
It's like the perfect thing for the stream. It's like, bring me back, bring our stream back.
Yeah, bring
Oh,
it
man.
live stream.
That was really bad. I mean, I have played Being Caught Stealing before, guys. Like, seriously. Thank you for coming back. Like, I've seriously played Jane's Addiction, Being Caught Stealing before. Like, nothing has happened. And then played friggin' Being Caught, because I saw like something wasn't right. It just didn't feel right. So I went to check it on, on the mobile to see what are we still, and like, no, nothing. And I was like, so thank you, Nathaniel, for coming in, joining us, and everybody else out there. I'm not sure where you guys are watching from, but thank you all. Oh, here we go. We got one from our Plunge Comics. We've got 3 from our Twitter. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Heartfelt, not that fake heartfelt, but real, Elon Musk heartfelt. So yeah, thank you. And let's go, right? So
yeah,
look, that's like, I always get this wrong, like left or right, because I'm looking at myself in the mirror. So it's like, there we go. So this is the Kiss Demon, Gene Simmons, right? I have an action figure. I grew up on their, I think it was like live. My dad had a live album, a double LP live, and inside, and also I've spoken before about Ace Frehley, right? And his gambling addiction and his alcoholism basically ruined his entire career. And Kiss, was my first ever speech in front of a crowd, and that was at high school, right? 3rd year at high school or something like that. I dropped out after about 3 months anyway. But and that was that. And I've been out of school, but I've spent years in like higher education. So thank you guys for joining us, and we're going to be talking about his son, the long-tongued one's son, right? The demon's son. And this happened 2010, right? But the repercussions of it still still exists, because the idea that someone famous can steal from someone in another country is not new. I've had it happen to me personally, right? I've had a single spec script stolen from me from a studio, and then they said, no, we don't want this, and then went and made 2 movies, one in Australia and one here in New Zealand, based off my spec script, right? The idea, the concept behind it. So I know the big guys always steal off the little guys. So, however, in this case, as we learn, is that it wasn't a little guy. The idea was that they were somewhere else across the shore, so people in America wouldn't recognize it if you stole from Japan. So, Tomas, before I further go on, please introduce yourself and let people know where you're at, where you're from, and who you are.
Okay, well, once again, hello everybody. Thank you for coming in again. Sorry for the troubles on the last minute. Well, I'm, like everybody knows, or those who don't know, I'm Thomas. I'm the artist behind the Tortoise manga we are doing with Aru at this moment. And at the moment, I'm in France, more specific in the mountains, little town called Maribel, and I'm working here for the winter season. And originally, sorry, I'm from Argentina. So thank you, everybody. Sorry that I don't have a picture, or I say that you don't see me because the connection here is horrible. So I'm doing my best.
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, like, just use the image because we don't want to have too much issues with the internet. I know I'm going to start having some issues with the internet myself, and I've been trying to get that sorted. So before we go on, I just want to bring up some artwork from from Tomas, just to show you guys what he's been working on with us before we lead into the main situation here. Let me make sure I have the right image.
Let's see.
Yeah, it takes a while because I don't like by the time I open it into my Clip Studio, it's gonna like, it's gonna, like I said, my internet's a bit fuzzy at the moment. So let me see which one's trying. It's not giving me what I wanted because I've got so many. We work on about 6 different projects at the same time, so it's kind of annoying, like trying to find the thing really quickly when I want it because then wasn't even thinking about showing it until you said so. So okay, which folder is it? Are you the one? Are you the one? Here we go. Come on now. So talking about Nick Simmons, right? This happened in 2010 is when he got exposed. And it was about around that time. And it was like, it was just crazy learning about this because, and we're going to play the video that basically this morning, right? This all happened kind of sudden because I woke up and I watched a wrestling video, and next thing this came up, and I was like, "What? Wait, we need to talk about this, right?" And like, all of a sudden, I was like, "Hey, it's my 1,000th episode, so why not talk about plagiarism in comics?" So because that's perfect right now, especially with the fact that we're looking at AI being a major plagiarist, right? And so it was just. That's the other thing we're going to be talking about today. Is about Nick Simmons, and of course, about AI plagiarism. So let me just answer this question. So how can anyone ever pitch anything if it gets rejected and plagiarized? The worst part was about that, Nate, was that I wrote and as I like when I came out of film school, right after 3 years getting my degree and all that, and getting my bachelor's, I came out of film school and I wrote a story where the character has his work plagiarized, right? And and so they go, because they got to deal with they decide these students he got plagiarized, so the 4 of them go away camping. And so while they're camping, stuff happens to them. But the thing is, he's trying to deal with it emotionally about having been ripped off. And then like 9 years later, I get ripped off, right? Like 10 years later, I get ripped off myself. And yes, it is infuriating. And it was like really annoying and heartbreaking because I was like, this could like really kickstart the Plunge universe because it was really grounded. It was about like our character Red Dot, who is is a vigilante, but he's an SAS officer, which is a special forces, like in Green Beret. In the US, you guys have Green Beret. In the colonials, right, Britain, Australia, and all that, we have the SAS. And you guys might have seen a recent movie about that with not Brad Pitt, who was it? Henry Cavill. Yeah, Henry Cavill was in that, and it was like the dirty.
Like the Ungentleman War or something like that with the Jack Reacher actor, I think, or no?
Yeah, he was in it as well, if I remember right. Let me bring up so you guys, so we can get an idea of who it was. I mean, I can give you guys an idea who it was, but it was Henry Cavill, and it was a really good movie. It was how the actual SAS was formed, right? It came about, and this was during World War II, and how specialized. And this is where the the Green Berets also started happening. And the movie was called, it is The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is the name of the movie. So let me just bring that up, and then we'll show you guys. That was a good movie. It was like really rugged, right? So this is it here. And that was the formation of the SAS through Britain and through colonials like us in New Zealand and Australia. It's like the elite of the elite soldier, and so I actually spent like an entire year coming up with that, with the story, like the actual background, like watching like I think about 3 and 4 hours of documentaries to learn about it, and then put this into the character, right? And it was about dealing it was about soldiers dealing with PTSD, right? After war, and some who can handle it, some who can't. And it was about, there's 3 levels of it. It was like 3 different characters. You had a survivor who came out okay as a leader, and one who was very suicidal, and another who had actually died. And so that was the whole story behind the red dot. And I wanted to turn it into a movie, which then got stolen. The pitch, the idea, the script, because there was like 50 pages of it, and then got made into some stupid romantic comedy thing. 2 of them. So let's get to Gene Simmons, right? But I just want to show, before we do that, I'll go back. I was answering that question. Now go back to the art, and this of course is a comic that we're working on right now with Tomas here, and it's about 2 young ladies, 20-year-olds, and their romance, and then also their journey to an overseas island, a foreign place that's not been that isn't kind of like, they're not exposed that much. They've kind of cut off from the rest of the world, and they go looking for a legend about a turtle. That's why it's called the tortoise. So yeah, I just wanted to show you some of Tomas's work before you guys, before we get into this whole plagiarism thing. All right, let's get to Nick Simmons, and we're going to start with this video, which is what got me started to do this today. Right? It's called Plagiarism or Inspiration. Nick Simmons and Bleach. So let's watch this, and we'll see. I'll stop in between. We'll have a bit of dialogue about it, and we'll go from there. I'm going to lower this a bit so we can.
The only thing that I never heard of Simons was the Gene Simmons show on MTV, the Kiss band, and that's all. This thing, like the gentleman that the Simons doing plagiarism, I was like, what? There's another Simons out there? I didn't saw it on the show.
Yeah. Well, it's a son, right? It's a son. I think there's 2 of them, a son and daughter, and then it's this. So, okay, let's play this, and we'll go from there.
June 26, 1977, Fuji, Japan, a small town in the Hiroshima prefecture, Tite Kubo was born. Kubo decided in elementary school that he was going to become a mangaka. After reading the manga Saint Seiya by Masami Kurumada, Kubo's first one-shot was Ultra Unholy Hearted Machine, which was written for Weekly Shonen Jump in 1996. Kubo followed that project up with his series Zombie Powder that ran in Shonen Jump from 1999 to 2000 with 27 chapters. Shortly after the cancellation of Zombie Powder, Tite Kubo submitted a new story concept for a manga called Bleach. Bleach was one of the biggest mangas in the early 2000s, deemed as one of the big 3 series at the time, along with Naruto and One Piece. Bleach ran for 15 years, from 2001 to 2016, with 698 chapters, as well as a smash hit anime that ran from 2004 to 2012 with 366 episodes, and made its return in 2022 with the 1,000-Year Blood War, the final arc of the series to finish it out. Now, let's go back to 1977. The Love Gun Tour was going on with the infamous band Kiss headlining the whole thing, performing the album of the same name. Kiss was one of the most prominent rock bands of the early 1970s to the 1980s, best known for the theatrical performances, makeup, and costumes. Kiss founding members were Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, Peter Criss, and Gene Simmons. After the peak of Kiss's popularity, Gene Simmons ventured into many avenues of entertainment, one of those being Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, which was an American reality television series that aired on A&E from August 7, 2006 to July 14, 2012. This show followed Simmons and his family. Gene was trying to hop on the trend of reality TV that was ever so popular in the early 2000s. In this show, we are introduced to Nick Simmons. Nick Simmons, outside of being the son of Gene Simmons, is best known for completely ripping off Bleach. As the seasons went on for Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, Tite Kubo's Bleach was reaching its peak in popularity, with the Bleach anime coming out red hot during the same time as Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. Apparently, Apparently, Nick Simmons was a fan of the medium of comic books, as his dad, Gene, had already dipped his toes in the comic book industry, creating his own.
So here's the thing: I did not know about that. I know that there's like Kiss kind of like comics about them, and that I don't know who wrote them, but I've seen them. Right? I did not know that Gene Simmons had his own imprint as part of IDW, right? And I'm thinking maybe his son doing that was probably what ruined the whole Kiss Kiss imprint, right? Had Gene Simmons imprint. So that was pretty crazy. Like, I mean, when I saw this, I was like, really? Like, what? Yeah, it's like he did that. Like, I didn't even know Gene Simmons House of Horror was a thing, or like Simmons Comics Anthology, you know. Yeah,
the Gene Simmons universe, like.
Yeah, the Geneverse, or the Simmonsverse, right? But the other thing I just want to put up here, guys, this is the two main ones that the theft occurs from, right? And you'll see why I say theft and why it was such a big, huge deal. And this is like 2010, right? And it's always a big guy stealing from little guys. I'm like, this dude's like, his dad's a multi-millionaire, right? Like you've got basically, let me bring us back to center, right? We basically, you got t-shirts, you got everything, right? There's everything out of Kiss. So like he basically rules everything about the whole brand of Kiss, right? And yet he's gonna go, his son should know about copyright laws. His, you know, what kind of like, it's like, it's not like he's a person who goes out into the world like me, right? I'm leave my parents behind at the age of 16 and go out and never come back home except to visit, or 3 months to get myself together after a divorce, right? But the idea here is that he lived there. They're on TV all the time. They actually have a TV show, right? The Family Jewels, which I heard about, never watched.
They made money after money after money, and it's like, I think the guy got confident with the, oh, my dad is Gene Simmons and he had like 2,000 lawyers, so if the guy sue me, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, but then you've got someone out there in Japan, right? 2010, 2016, you know, Tite Kubo, right? I was trying to think, is it Tite Kubo? Because it's like the T is silent. Tite.
And he also had like he had like a really bad beginning with Bleach, because he presented Bleach with to the Shonen Jump. They told him your manga is exactly like Yu Yu Hakusho, like the other one. And some bad people say that later on Akira Toriyama went to the Shonen Jump and saw the script, and he told to Tite Kubo like, oh, you have to arrange this and that and you will be fine. The other day the Shonen Jump say, hey, it's good, you can come to work with us. And some people say that Toriyama went and put like a ton of money like on the table and say, accept this guy, this is my words, nobody's gonna say no, so do it.
Yeah. See, that's like, I mean, that's such a big deal, man. Like having a Akira, right? It's a, I always get the names mixed up with these guys. Akira is from, oh gosh,
Toriyama is Dragon Ball, the father.
Yeah, the father of Dragon Ball, right? So the reason it doesn't come to mind all the time for me is because I've never watched Dragon Ball Z, right? and I've never watched Naruto, but I have watched Bleach. I've watched about 100 episodes of Bleach, and I love Bleach. I just haven't, because there's so many episodes. Like, I just haven't got around to try to finish it because there's always new things coming out. But I'm a person who watches anime just about every other day, right? And someone who loves the art form, and like, because I think manga creators, because they have total control, I guess, in a sense, over their art and over their writing, they're able to put out what they want, unlike with like American comics, where you have a studio tells you and got, you know, whatever to do that. And so I find that like I'm more closer to the manga artists than to American comics, because I get to write whatever I want, and work with my artists like yourself, right, Tomas, and we create the books together without anybody outside going, well, this and that, until we go, is there any errors, or does it make sense, or is it okay then? And I think that's why I feel like a kinship to a manga. And I always am like, always, whenever people put down manga or anime, I'm always like, you guys don't know what the hell you're on about, because the freedom and the hard work they put into that, it's like, this is like their entire life is that. It's not like they
Yeah.
do 6 issues and they walk away. It's like their entire life.
The
So
best.
carry on.
No, also like people died making manga, like Murata, the author of Berserk, he died making manga.
Yep.
The author of Vagabond, he has to stop making manga because his health was like running out.
Yeah.
And it's also like a really stressed job. So you can check also for future episodes the like the how do you call it, the documentary of the author of Vagabond, or also the author of Slam Dunk.
Yeah.
And you can see how stressed he's the guy for making like one episode for each week.
Yeah.
And it's like he finishes at 3 a.m. and at the other day he has to wake up at 6. And then it goes on, it goes on, and it's hard. Yeah. That's because some people say, oh, big eyes, it's not realism, it's not good, so it's easy to draw. No, it's not easy.
No, and that's the thing that, like, that's what I think. This is why I hate AI, and I despise AI. I mean, like, the only thing I use with AI is ChatGPT, because, and I never use it for my writing or anything like that. I will never let it touch my work. But the only reason I use AI is like when I just there, I said, like, give me some information about, like, and I'll show you what I mean. You know, to make it easy for me to get knowledge, I mean, quickly, is, you know, I'll just go, well, let's jump on there and get me what I need to find, right? Because that's the only time. Because I'm very precious, even like I mentioned last week when we were talking to Mario. Gosh, what was Mario's last name? Tomas? Mario Gully, right? OMG, the artist, right? Because I was telling him, like, I actually spend half an hour to an hour coming up with the images for the placeholders, because I just don't want AI to use AI for that. But apart from, you know, let's move on from my blabbering about that. So, you know, the idea that, like you said, like, you know, like we're talking about, like, how this guy's, his dad's so big, and it's that idea of too big to fail, too big to be caught out, too big to be, you know, to have any vertigo. Oh, it kind of feels like he thinks he's untouchable, right?
Exactly, like the king of rock.
Yeah. And he's the prince of rock, right? If that's a king of rock, then he's the prince of rock, so he can't be touched. And then he found out, as we learned,
had already dipped his toes in the comic book industry, creating his own imprint under IDW with the Gene Simmons comic group in 2007. In July of that year, the first issue of Gene Simmons' House of Horrors, a quarterly horror anthology, was introduced, which featured many different stories created by Gene, with many different artists and writers bringing these creations to life. One of these stories being written and drawn by Nick Simmons. This comic was titled Skullduggery, which would be Nick's first attempt to write and draw a comic. Skullduggery, after its first issue was dropped from IDW, according to Nick Simmons, his artwork was not up to pro standards. It was amateur at best. This cancellation of Skullduggery didn't deter Nick from trying to get his comic to life. Simmons was planning on maybe trying to get this comic into a web series. Luckily for Simmons, he was able to get his comic series picked up by Radical Studios after the co-founder Barry Levine saw some of Nick's artwork while working on a deal with Gene Simmons. Comics, manga, and anime. Simmons.
and I unmuted myself. I was running around because it's like so hot, and so I was opening the run slider and the window, kitchen window, so like there'll be a wind tunnel because I started sweating. So the reason I want to stop there was because Radical has pretty good comics. Like the art is really good, and I have a set of them, and I can't remember what it is because I was going to look for it, but then I was like got busy with cleaning up. But Radical is it is a quality comic book publisher as far as I remember, because like their work, and I think one of them was actually going to be made into a movie. So let me find some information about that while this continues. But I just wanted to stop there to just tell you, it wasn't like
about that that comic book site like Radical, and I never heard it before, so I feel like
Okay.
oh, there are too much comics to do.
Yeah, well, it is like the work is quality, right? And like the artwork is quality, and so I don't even know that like how he would pick it up. Like it's like, and here's the thing, right? I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if you guys have seen my first web comic, self-published web comic of Incredible. It's a web comic, and it's that quality. And then when I self-published it, my friend said to me, "Look, man, there's too many words," and then I was looking at it myself, and I was saying, I wouldn't buy this if it wasn't me. And so I got it redone. The entire thing was redone. And this is what happened here. It's like this is where it should have stopped, right? It was like, get this redone, get some other artists in there, don't do it yourself. But no. So I want to start playing from here. I can't remember where we went to, but let's go with I think it was about here, right? So Radical.
Yeah, kind of there.
Yeah, let's go from here. Yeah,
the picture. Yeah,
Skullduggery, right? Yeah.
Comic was titled Skullduggery, which would be Nick's first attempt to write and draw a comic. Skullduggery, after its first issue was dropped from IDW, according to Nick Simmons, his artwork was not up to pro standards. It was amateur at best. This cancellation of Skullduggery didn't deter Nick from trying to get his comic to life. Simmons was planning on maybe trying to get this comic into a web series. Luckily for Simmons, he was able to get his comic series picked up by Radical Studios after the co-founder Barry Levine saw.
Right. So I also want to mention Raza, right? The rap dude, right?
Founder Barry Levine saw some of
here
series picked up.
So is it Pfizer? Like, I think, yeah. Look at the art. Fuza, yeah. So look at the artwork here, right? This is quality stuff. That one looks like friggin' almost. I almost thought it was like Darth Vader, but it's not. It's a German helmet.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, this is quality work. It's not like his part, like not like Nick Simmons' work. It's like this is high grade.
By Radical Studios after the co-founder Barry Levine saw some of Nick's artwork while working on a deal with Gene Simmons. Barry told Nick that he would publish his comic but needed to overhaul the comic and start over. Fast forward to August 2009, we got Incarnate.
Comic books are my passion, so using his name to promote it, just anything that'll sell it is fine. Once you have a passion, it doesn't matter. I'm shameless about promoting this thing. I want to sell this thing. It's what I want to do for a living. So this is poster for it. This is Incarnate, written and drawn by me.
And when, did you develop a passion initially as a reader, or what got you into it?
I read. I read.
See this here. When I watched this, when I saw that look, right, and I was like, he was about to say it, and then he stopped saying it. So let's try, and you'll see what I mean, right?
He's looking at the camera at the moment, like saying, "Get me out of here."
Yeah, it's like you asked me the wrong question, and I don't want to answer this question.
Right? And you hear like he says, it doesn't matter. The important thing is to sell. It's not no.
Well, he learned that from Daddy, right? Daddy's all about sell, and it's not if and of course his father's putting out quality products. But talking about Gene Simmons, right? We all know like they use like backing tracks now. Right, they guitar or drums or whatever it is, they've been caught out several times. Like his, this whole, this is our last show, then this is the last, there's our retirement show. But they got into a stage where they can't keep up, but they still want us tour because that's where the money is, right?
Yeah.
And And like, I mean, last time I did that live stream with Megadeth, about Megadeth, and how Dave Mustaine has got a winery, right? He makes $2 million a year just from his wine sales, right? So they don't need to tour. But Gene's got to sell all this, and he's got to be in front of everybody because he's still living that, the old, I don't know what you want to call it, but I bought this for $5.
Yeah.
So what that should tell you is that people aren't real, and this is new, right? And so that people really aren't there for Kiss anymore, but the merch is there. The merch has got to sell the merch. But like you said there, Tomas, that like, when let's play this through. But I want you guys to watch his face when he gets asked that question. It's very telling.
Yeah.
Just anything that'll sell it is fine. Once you have a passion, it doesn't matter. I'm shameless about promoting this thing. I want to sell this thing. It's what I want to do for a living. So this is a poster for it. This is Incarnate, written and drawn by me.
And what, did you develop a passion initially as a reader, or what got you into it?
I read I read comics from Japan and American comics.
Incarnate is about a fictional species of creatures, revenants.
He didn't want to tell exactly which ones, right? Because that way he'll get caught out. That's why I was like, he doesn't name them. See, if you ask me what were the influences behind which comics, I'll tell you straight away, right? The influence behind what was it called? Templeton, right? Templeton started with my love for John Constantine, and I was like, I was thinking like there was a specific comic arc that really got me inspired, which made me think about, well, what if I wrote a comic about John Constantine, and then realized that like, I really don't want to be where I can be controlled by a studio telling me what I could and can't do. So I created my own character, Christopher Templeton, right? Rather than he's a character who's in this world, he's a character in hell, right? He starts off being in hell, and he is in hell for ages and ages and ages, whatever. You got to read the comic book, right? And so it's got that kind of elements. And like Red Dot started with a story about my real uncle, extended family, who got knifed in the neck, and there was about 2 done wrong, right? I mean, was it like 2 done wrong? Like 2 people, 2 kids that killed him. And so that's how I thought, well, why don't we do that as a Punisher story? Then I was like, no, let's create my own thing, and then went into the whole SAS and create that story. So it's not like, carry on, Tomas.
No, so it's like that's when like good stories come out, that you got inspired like for a character or story, and you say, oh, I would like to see this character in this situation, but you say, no, I want my character in this situation, and you start to come up with new things, and that's the beauty of creating something else. And when they ask you, I got inspired into this. This has a little vibe into this, and that's when you become with something new. So,
yeah, it's really weird where he doesn't do that, right? He doesn't say this is what inspired me. He goes, oh yeah, I'll read some comics from Japan. It's like, well, what are your favorite comics then from Japan? It's like, these are things that like, it's like, when people ask you something, what inspired you, you go, if it does inspire you, talk passionately about it, because you want other people to get into it as well. And that's the idea of a fan. Someone is, and even if you in turn decide to create your own stuff, you gotta at least give what we call like pay your dues, right? So well, that guy inspired me, and that's where I got it from. And I don't think it's a pay your dues, but it's kind of like, this is where I got this from, right? So it just seems really weird. That really caught me off guard, like hearing that. I was like, why aren't you saying, like, at least you could introduce by saying it, and you have a big name, right? Like Gene Simmons' son.
Yeah.
You could get lots more people to read that book. And
exactly, yeah.
The Revenants are almost immortal, as they can regenerate their bodies. The storyline focuses on a Revenant named Mott, who has lived for hundreds of years because of the Revenant's regenerative capacity. Mott desires to die honorably on the battlefield for the Revenants, but can't because they are almost immortal. However, when the same
that image there looks so something like I've seen before, right? Straight away when I saw that, I was like,
It's like he's tracing something like
specifically Bleach, regenerative capacity.
This one, like this, right? Really, this one really made me think. I've seen this before.
Mott desires to die honorably on the battlefield for the Revenants, but
this one, this.
Yeah, and the other one I saw it somewhere else. The back shot of the other cover. I saw it before, like the same post. Like,
yeah, I mean, this is. I think this is from Bleach, isn't it? The hand thing. That's from like. I know that one. Is the finger thing. I can't remember. Do you know the name of the manga? It's a very famous one. I just can't remember the name of it right now.
But about what? Sorry, I don't remember. Like,
the hand in the mouth. I like the mouth in the hand. You know, like over here. This part here.
I got to my mind the Vampire Hunter D, but the guy has like a whole face in the hand, like a face with eyes and nose.
Okay, so Vampire Hunter D. All right, so Van Helsing. Yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah, that's what I think I probably remember from like
because they are almost immortal. However, when the Sanctum organization finds a way to kill Revenants, Mott sees the avenue to his death. When reading this comic, it reminds me of something you would see on a website like Webtoons, Tapas, or Manga Plus. It wasn't anything special, and at times was hard to read, very amateurish. So I don't see how much progression he got from Skullduggery to this series, but I digress. The initial miniseries was supposed to be the first story arc on a long-running comic that was supposed to evolve with a second and third story arc. This may have happened if it wasn't for this one YouTube channel promptly named Jim Supreme. Jim and his friends would review comics, manga, and anime on this channel. On episode 89 of Jim's show Geeking Out Weekly, Jim stated this about Incarnate issue 1.
It's very minimalistic. There's a lot of art references towards Helsing, One Piece. There's a few other animes I can pick out and mangas. It's almost like he's ripping right from the other books. And I mean that literally. You look at the books, and if you're any manga fan, you're going to know it on sight.
Then on episode 98, followed up with this.
Next up, Incarnate, number 2, written and drawn by Nick Simmons and Nam Kim. And how many characters can Nick Simmons rip off again? This is just another horror show of copyright infringement. And I mean that quite literally. It's like, looking at this book, I recognize so many characters from so many series, it's hard to count. And the fact that he's getting away with it, I just don't understand it at all. It's horrible. The writing is okay, but everything else just makes this series make me go, why?
These statements were about 6 months before everyone caught on to Nick Simmons' plagiarism. Now, I can't tell you how many views these videos got at the time of release, but I do believe these videos were the catalyst to the exposure.
You were saying something, Tomas?
No, it's just like I was like laughing, like, yeah, he was ripping off, like tracing, not ripping off. I think he just traced the character, and that's all.
Yeah, basically 1 for 1, really, because he's going to show some. And also, I've got a whole bunch of like links to other stuff that I was, after this, I went and researched, did a whole bunch of search for it.
Like you see, like the variation of the quality of the drawing, like some characters have the anatomy's off. It's like, okay, he's an amateur, but
yeah,
on the panel is like a professional manga. It's like, what? It's like.
Of Nick Simmons' blatant plagiarism. These videos must have been seen by the right people because in February of 2010, all hell broke loose on Nick Simmons and his comic. Slam piece after slam piece, blog post after blog post were written about his comic. Manga fans were completely outraged, specifically Bleach fans. There were viral images of Nick's panels and pages lined up exactly to Kubo.
Look at that.
Yeah. Like, come on. Put some effort in it. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna trace this. I'm gonna put a black and white filter, and okay, nobody's gonna notice. Like, we are not stupid.
Bleach pages. Many of Simmons' characters.
just turn it around, clean it up.
Yeah.
You know, like put a shirt on him.
But also like the people who read comics and manga, they know where you get the things. I remember one time one of my teachers, he was like looking around some references, and he says like, he was saying like, the worst thing about this is like, there's gonna be somebody who's gonna say, I know where you take the reference from. You take it from this picture, like, and it's like almost like an inquisition of people looking around who take the reference from who. It's like,
well, I mean, there is like there's like, what's his name, Alex Ross, right? Alex Ross, the comic book painter, famous for painting of many of his works, and with his friend, like he's got a friend who he paints as Superman and the poses and stuff, and he's done it forever. And and he's never said this isn't from him. It's like I always use references. Like this is the actual people that I use in his work. I mean, like for me, like when I'm like working off somebody something and I give references over to you guys, I go, this is the photo I'm thinking of, and this is the person, the look I want. Now go and do something with this so it looks like this, and then it comes back to me and goes, no, it's like this or like that, and then we change it, because you never want to use like anybody and leave it the same, because the thing about art is like you want to make it your own. And this is why I hate like AI, because it doesn't make it your own. It just takes people's stuff and regurgitates it from other people's stuff, and it's nothing that you can claim as your own. That's why AI can't, anything AI created can be what is it called, can be owned by anybody. There's no copyright on AI.
Yeah, also like the thing is, it's not like like you post on Facebook, like they say I created this. They don't say I draw it, I paint this. It's like one of my friends who says it's the same thing. Like you order food and you say, oh, look how good I cook this. Like, no, you ask for food. That's all.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like, oh, I saw this, like, here's the best way, right? So it's like a packaged food, right? And then it's like opened into a plate and heated and then given to you at a 5-star restaurant.
Exactly.
Right? And you're going, where'd you get this from?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, I was trying to figure out whether, like, the wind, I think the wind is blowing, and so it's causing thing in my hand. So, like, or is that from you? I'm not sure. So let's carry on with this. But like, look at this, man. Like, oops, it went away from there. Go.
Designs came straight from Bleach. The fight scenes and the whole nine were pretty much ripped from page from Bleach, Hellsing, and many other manga.
There you
Fans
go.
of Bleach,
Hellsing, right?
Yeah, Hellsing. Yeah,
I love Hellsing. It's been like a decade since I last saw it. I think it's time for me to go back and watch it again.
Reached out to Viz Media and Tite Kubo about these blatant rip-offs of their IPs. Evelyn Dubik, Senior Director of Public Relations at Viz Media, the American publisher of the Bleach manga, was quoted as saying, "We appreciate all our fans bringing this matter to our attention, and we are currently investigating this."
I think they're not sharing the video.
Oh, apologies. Hey, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, I was just trying to check the sound, whether it's me that's making the sound or if it's coming from you. I think it's from me. I'm not sure what's going on. Are you okay there, Mike? Sorry about the noise. It's like something's moving constantly.
Okay, no, I maybe it's me. I'm moving on the chair, maybe. Or...
Yeah, it's like it's coming very close to my headphones. So like, yeah, I think it's you.
Okay.
Tite Kubo had also reacted to this situation by posting 2 tweets commenting on the accusations and noting that he was more concerned by the fact that Gene Simmons' son was a creator of comics than he was concerned about his work being copied. To me,
so he goes, between last night and this morning, I've been getting a lot of messages from overseas fans along the lines of there is an American comic ripping off Bleach. I'm not that good at English, but I looked at the site and it seems it's a comic by Nick Simmons, the son of Gene Simmons. To be honest, I'm more bothered by the fact that Gene Simmons' son is the comic artist than whether or not it's a ripoff. Yeah, I think that's you. Tomas, I think it's you moving around too much.
No, I was getting still. Sorry, I was sitting.
Say something. Let me just check.
Yeah, you hear me?
How about can you give me 1 second? I want to just check this.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, it's you. It's you, dude. It's your mic. It's not me. I'm like, I just muted you and there was nothing there. So it's on your side.
Oh, can I move this?
All right. Let's try this. Okay.
The second tweet about Kubo's concerns over Dig being a comic creator is more profound than anything else. Kubo and many of the other mangakas that Simmons ripped off put in countless hours in honing their craft. In Japan,
see, this is what I get really pissed off at AI people. It's the hours and decades and years that you spend with a pen and pencil and paper and inks and whatever your tool is that you go to draw, and somebody just types in some words and it regurgitates out this this work, and then you go, oh, I created this, and it's like, where did you go to school? How long have you been doing it? Who inspired you? What works inspired you? Oh no, I just put into a computer and it gave me that out. It's just put in the AI. I'm like, then don't ever say you created it. Don't ever say it's your art, because it's not art. It's like it's everybody else's but yours. And this is the thing, right? With Tite Kubo saying back here, that between last night and this morning, I've been getting a lot of messages, but like at the bottom here it goes, to be honest, I'm more bothered by the fact that Gene Simmons' son is a comic artist than whether or not it's a ripoff. It's like if you're, it's like if you're a comic artist, or if you call yourself an artist, the last thing you want to do is rip off somebody else who's also an artist, because you believe in the fact that the art has value, that the person who's creating this has a lot of, has spent a lot of time honing their craft. And Gene shouldn't, his son should know all this, because someone actually created this for Gene, some artist, because it wasn't Gene who made this. He paid someone to come up with the design and everything, right? Which is what is really frustrating with AI people. That's why I said this is, it's both about plagiarism. It's also about plagiarism of AI. I think the idea is that a lot of people just think it's okay to just take other people's artwork and say it's yours. So theft is theft, right? But to claim it as yours is what the issue is here that I have with it, right? Because I think a lot of time people just don't. The idea is like, oh, it's a gift from God. It's not a gift from God. It's a craft that you hone, right? It's something that you decide, oh, it'll be, I enjoy doing this, right? And there isn't many people who actually have a gift from God or anything. A lot of people later in life like to say, oh, it's from God. But it's their fingers that were friggin' plucking it, right? It wasn't like God over the top of them, guiding every single friggin' finger or every little paint stroke. It's because your eyes and your hands and your brain connects to that page or that, or that tablet, right? And you're drawing away with it. And I think the idea that people, just, at the moment, just say whatever they want and just chuck out all this shitty, regurgitated artwork online. And, I see it almost every day. I turn on my, every other hour, I think, when I turn on Facebook, it's just there. And I'm like, where's the name on this? Who's the artist on this? No name. And the people just go, I created this. It's like, yeah, well, how long you been doing this? Can we see some other stuff? And this is where it's got to now. Like people actually ask, and even real artists are getting asked that now because of these fake people. The real artists are getting their work questioned, right? About that. So let me just go back to here.
Ripped off, put in countless hours in honing their craft. In Japan, being a mangaka isn't an easy feat at all. Weekly deadlines, countless editor meetings, and little to no sleep. Most of these mangaka end up with major health issues from this lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly what Tomas was saying, right? Tomas, you were just saying that before about Akira or something like that.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay, perfect. No, about the author from Berserk, Murata.
Right.
It's not Murata. I'm mixing it. Like I forgot his name. The guy died from a heart attack for not resting. No. The author from Slam Dunk. He has to abandon making manga because he was like having sick all the time. It's like a kind of stressful work. It's like compare it to voluntary slavery because, for example,
your mic's cutting in and out, bud.
Do you hear me? No.
Yeah, I'm going to try to fix your mic, but your mic seems to be cutting out again. How's that? Are you? Yeah. Log out and log back in again. Sorry, dude. Yeah. Okay. So while he's let me find this some information, right? So this is a little bit about Nick himself while our manga artist is sorting out his sound. So born Nicholas Adam Tweed Simmons, Tweed after his mum's, January 22, 1989. I wouldn't consider, I guess, he can be considered an American comic book writer. Reality television personality because his parents put him on there, right? On there was like the Family Jewels thing, this one here. So he's best known for starring in the A&E, well, the reality show, right? And then he goes, he wrote and created a limited comic book series Incarnate, which was published by Radical Comics in 2009. In 2017, Simmons worked as a writer for the Huffington Post. So he went to writing articles, right? So he's the son of Shannon Tweed, actress, model, and Gene. Right. And I still haven't got him back, but all right, let's carry on with the other one. So with the video, and hopefully we can get Tomas back because he's a manga artist as well. So hopefully we can. I just hear the blast there. How you doing? Are you back? Are you good?
Yeah. Do you hear me?
Perfect.
Cool. Sorry. The connection here is horrible. Like, God damn it.
All right. Let's try this.
Yeah.
Being a cartoonist in America is a tough task to manage. Nick did not put in this 10,000 hours in order to get published. His dad handed him everything when it came to getting his comics published. IDW and Radical Studios seem to only have done business with Nick in order to appease Gene, in order to get Gene to sign and do business with their publishing companies. Nick didn't even care about the music as much as he said he did prior to, and this can't even be cemented more when he said this after being called up for his plagiarism. Like most artists, I'm inspired by work I admire. There are certain similarities between some of my work and the works of others. This was simply meant as a homage to artists I respect, and I definitely want to apologize to any manga fans or fellow manga artists who feel that I went too far. My inspirations reflect the fact that certain fundamental imagery is common to all manga. This apology, if that's what you want to call it, comes off as truly disingenuous. Stating these tracings as homage or
This is why, like, I don't like I know, you guys probably know this, but I'm not like 100%, anti parody, but I don't like parody comics. I mean, there's effects where they can be done well and has been done well, but there are people that just blatantly rip off other people's work and they twist it and make it adult, and it doesn't feel right. And the only way I can think of that is like, what would be like if it was your work that was done to that way? Would you be appreciative, or would you welcome your hard worked creation being turned into something like this, right? Being ripped off? And how would you feel personally? And so, like, when it comes to art, I personally go like, well, I'd rather not. And if I'm doing homages, I'll actually ask my guys to go, hey, this is what I want it to look like. And when we put it out, okay, this is a homage to my favorite cover of this, or this is where it's come off from, right? And that's homages are that, right? This is where it's come off. But when it's like blatant ripping off like this, that's not a homage. That's stealing, right?
It's true. Like the people who, for example, the people who trace pictures, like photos from somebody, and say, "Hey, I sell you this drawing from you." No, you're just tracing and putting colors in it. It's not like there's no effort in it. It's like I'm gonna be like really like an inquisition here, because I really, it gets to my nerves, these kind of things, because sometimes the people, they want to get like approval from the others, and they want to cut corners and make something else. And one for example, you and me, we decide to stay on the road, taking the pain of doing things that we don't know sometimes, to own our craft. And people look at you and they tell you like, oh, you're not a really good artist because you don't paint pictures like them. And they trace things, and they do like, what the hell? Like, my shoulder hurts from drawing. Your back hurts from sitting at writing. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like my hand, like I'm on the computer all day long, like, and I'm like, it just gets worse and worse. I'm like, now I can't, like, now I have to have this on like almost all the time, except when I sleep. Otherwise, it just hurts. And so I think a lot of time people who haven't lived a life or haven't actually spent time, honing their craft, they don't understand. So it's easily for them to just poo-poo it. Like it doesn't matter that much, right? I'll just put in there and it'll be right. And like you go, well, when okay, let me just show you guys something, right? This is just from this morning. I've got a colorist
It's
on
like
about comic.
these people wants the applause.
What was it? Sorry, Tomas, you cut out there.
These people want the approval, the fame, the fortune, everything. Like, they want to be famous and everything. So that they don't want to draw at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the hard. They don't want to put in the labor, right? They don't want to put the labor in. So I want to show you guys this page here. So this is it here, right? Let me get rid of the text. This is it. My artist, Kevin. This is issue 2 of Incredible, right? This is Kevin doing page. What page is this? Is page 8 or 7? Page 7, right? So this is basically just the inked pages, right? He's drawn it and placed everything right. And the next thing I've gone in myself personally, I've got in the colors, put in the name of the show and stuff, just so for my artist then can go, the colorist then go and color it. So I've done that part. Like even here, right? We've gone all that in there. Now that is then my colorist just this morning, right? George, like probably about, I don't know, it was like about 2:00 this morning or something like that. Whatever time it was in Argentina, or maybe like it was 2 in the afternoon. I don't know, maybe about 12 midnight. I can't tell, or 12 noon. And he said, like, he gave me this, right? So you can see this. And I said to him, okay, so I'm looking at it, I'm going, it's too clean, right? It's too clean. And so he goes back and does that to it, right? And he sends me that, and I'm going, now I like it. that's how quickly, like, you know, that because I could tell him this is what I'm looking at. I go, this is, I want dust, I want a bit of like texture, and boom, from that to this. Right. Actually, have are you guys seeing us? Oh, you are. For a minute there, I thought I didn't see this. You weren't seeing this, but like, yeah. So as you can see, like, you know, that it's just sometimes I feel like a lot of people don't take art seriously because they think it's magic. It's not magic. It's a lot of work. And this is why, like, you know, when you have people like this dude here, from a very rich multi-million-dollar family, just, you know, treating it like something, like treating it like, you know, like AI bros do, right? AI people do.
But also, I think like this is like a personal opinion. I talking from me, from my view, is like I think the past decade or no more, like 20 years, 30 years, like the vision of being an artist, it's transformed from only making art to being a rock star. Now you see like
Yeah.
it's not all of them, but some comic book artists that, oh yeah, I have a Lamborghini, I have this, and I can, and it's like, okay, it's like a small diamond in the desert. It's that all. It's not the real thing,
Yeah.
and I think it's that pursuit of trying to be a millionaire, being a comic book. But that I say it can happen. It maybe would happen, maybe not. But it's not the main
Yeah.
point. The main point is
Yeah.
drawing, making easy stories, and telling them. That's all. Some people have to
Yeah.
work half a day in other job to have to get to the end of the month. Some people
Yeah.
don't; they live from the craft, but it's okay.
Mm.
But like most of them, like right now, oh yeah, I want to work from this video game company to be the concept artist to have like millions of months just for drawing. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, the thing here is that the worst part about this dude here is that he could had, you know, had everything. You
Yeah,
know, he could have just like had, you know, he could have just written the book and had somebody, had his dad, if he couldn't pay him, you know, he's not going to pay it. His dad could have paid
or
for it, an artist to
yeah,
do the work, right?
or even better, like your dad is Gene Simmons, you can pay like a really good marble artist or whoever you want to teach you how to draw. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You could have an artist, you like a one-on-one tutor, right? Okay,
Exactly.
we're gonna pay you $100,000 to teach my son how to be a good artist a year. Okay, thank you. Cool. How easy is
Exactly.
that? You're right. You know, I didn't even think about that. Like having actually a professional artist, comic artist, go and tutor this dude, right? A couple hours a day, you know, or whatever, a couple hours a week, till his art, so he doesn't need to steal and claim other people's work as his own.
Yeah.
Or similarities is crazy. Furthermore, trying to dismiss this stuff by saying it is just part of an art style that is common to all manga is horrendous. Yes, manga does have a style to it.
And this is the thing, like a lot of comic people, right, say this about manga artists. And they like kind of poo-poo it. And I hear it all friggin' time, especially some, you know, indie comic pros like Ethan, like Ethan Van Sciver does that all the time, always shitting on manga artists, but he hasn't put out a work in 4 years. Like he isn't, like, he keeps putting out work, but they never get delivered. Right? There's a work of his that's been held back for, like, people haven't, still after 4 years haven't got. Yet manga artists and manga creators have to get like a whole chapter out a week, not in 4 years, but a week, right? And everything's got to be right, because, like, you know, otherwise they're not going to publish it. And the fact that it's got to be right all the time, you know. And the other things, I mean, there are such things as fillers, because, like, okay, we got to do that because we're going to keep doing it. But the idea is that these guys, you know, like you said earlier, Tomas, that these guys have their serious health issues because the stress of having to do it every day. Whereas someone like Ethan Van Sciver can sit on his laurels on what is like $500,000 and not deliver his book in 4 years, right? And they can
Yeah.
shit on manga creators and say, oh, they all look the same. It's like, yeah, but bro, where's your work? whereas you're like all you do all day every day is almost like do like about 4 or 5 hours of live streaming. Why aren't you, when are people
But
going to get the book they paid for?
also, like in the core, or in the core of every creation, like it's the same as, like, for example, oh, this is like Lord of the Rings but in the future. Oh, this is like for example, the Seven Samurais but in the future, like that. It's like the same. It doesn't some is it's the public who gonna decide to read it or not. That's why there's a lot of comics and manga over there, because you have horror, you have like science
Yeah.
fiction, fantasy, everything. At the core of everything is like, for example, The Boys is like, yeah, it's like the Justice League, but everyone is bad and this and that.
Yeah, I mean it's frustrating to hear people say that, like artists put down manga artists or manga creators and writers. I just think it's like if I put those guys down, then people will read my book. Sorry, bro. The reason people read those books, it's because they're better. Because if they wasn't better, they would be reading your book anyway, right? And the fact is that manga has been better for decades, right? And that's why manga has always been killing it when it comes to American comic books and writers and artists. I'll show you something that came across today on my Facebook, and I want to show you this image, man. Like, this is from an American comic book that came out recently, right? And here we go. This is from Facebook.
Let's see.
See this?
Yeah.
See this? See this?
What the?
Right? See that? Oh, sorry, I'll go
Okay.
full, right? What the hell is this?
Silicone, I think.
That neck and that head feels off. Look at this. Same here. All right? What is all this? This is a Justice League comic book from
The
not
guy,
Justice League, DC Comics.
the guy on the right,
Look at
his
this.
head is very small. Like, what?
Yeah. Look at
Even though
this.
when I draw, it's like I'm not like a perfect guy. I make a lot of mistakes at drawing, but like I know, because I'm not a professional. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get better, but these guys are like quote unquote big leagues. Like,
Yeah. It's DC Comics, right? It's not like an indie artist who's like just starting out or trying to get his anatomy right. Excuse me. But like, also look here. Like the fingers, look at how like dainty they look. Right? The wrist, the groin area here. It's all
yeah.
everything on this page. I don't even know if it's a full page. Looks like might be a full page. But what is this?
He can sit wherever he wants.
He's got his own chair.
Yeah.
Like, what is what is that with Blue Beetle's head? Like, is this somebody like playing a joke? But you know, yeah.
Or
When the
maybe
parody is
someone make an edit on
yeah, it's like someone's got like when the parody is better than the original. Unless I'm wrong, the original was that stupid plotline. But it just, I don't know. Like, is this supposed to be a joke? Like, it almost feels like they're anyway. But
Yeah.
the idea, at the end of the day, right? If you have all the, like we talk about silver spoon, right? When someone is given a silver spoon, like born into a family of richness, or born to rich parents, right?
Yeah.
Who have their own action figure, have their own TV show, and then to take a cheap way out, it's like the most, I don't know, man. Like, and the other thing is like,
It's like maybe, sorry for the word, it's like you are crapping on your father's legacy. Like I think I don't know the story of Kiss, but I think the guys came up from underground, like every rock band from that time, like Megadeth, and also after that, Metallica, and after Megadeth and Iron Maiden and all of that, that they came from way underground.
yeah.
It's like you're crapping on your father's legacy. Like, come on, man. Like, work hard.
Let me
Also, this like maybe a similar case, but not about art. But in Argentina, there are two brothers who are famous and have money because they are the son and daughter of a famous Argentinian football player. It's like, and that's all the thing. They don't work. They don't study. They don't do anything else. And oh no, because we are the sons of this guy who was a really famous football player. So
yeah. It's like the Maradona. It's not Maradona's son, are they?
no, it's another guy, Canigia.
Right. So here's what ChatGPT says about their background. So Kiss is a legendary rock band formed in New York City, 1973, when I was born, right? 51 years ago. Known for their larger-than-life personas, makeup, and their performances, right? The founding members each adopted blah, 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 right? So what was the background? So Gene Simmons, right, the demon, was born in Israel as Chaim Witz and immigrated to the U.S. as a child, right? Growing up in a working class family, so hardworking parents, like lower socioeconomic, right? And then working class family, not I wouldn't say lower working class, but like not rich at all. So Simmons was deeply inspired by American culture and rock music. His entrepreneurial drive helped shape Kiss into a merchandising powerhouse, as we and then Paul Stanley, the star child, born Stanley Eisen, came from a musical artistic background, known for his powerful vocals and stage presence. Stanley became the band's primary frontman and creative force, co-writing many of Kiss's biggest hits. Ace Frehley, the guitarist, born in the Bronx, had a rebellious streak and a natural talent for guitar. His innovative solos and iconic style made him a fan favorite, but struggles with substance abuse led him, and we talked about that in one of the videos I put on PlungeCast a couple of weeks ago, about his, how his whole alcohol and drug abuse, his alcohol abuse and gambling addiction has just really ruined his whole, his work with it as a artist. And then you've got this is, they're all from Brooklyn, New York, right? And they're not like anybody who were handed any they're not kids who were handed everything to them. They worked for it. And then you've got his son who had everything handed to him, like fame, money, riches, anything you want, you got, son, right? You even got a TV show to be on, and you got paid to just be yourself, like the Osbournes, right? Basically that sort of thing. It was a reality show, Family Jewels. And yet he takes that and uses it to steal from manga artists and writers.
It's like it's sad.
Sorry, what was it, Tomas?
It's sad. It's sad. That's it.
Yeah.
That are inspired by one another. All artists are influenced by one another, but that's not what Nick did at all. He didn't seem to care. He hadn't made a comic since then. Granted, he might be blackballed from the industry, but I'm sure he could come up with enough money to self-publish a comic if he was really passionate about it. But lo and behold, he has not. Stories like this are why comic fans don't take outside entities who try to produce comics seriously. Honestly, though, I'm not going to put all the blame of this plagiarism on Nick Simmons, because if you look at the credits on this comic, there are plenty of names and a whole ass studio who helped him make this comic. Why didn't they say anything to Nick? Or maybe it was plenty of names and...
Okay, look. You had Matt Dalton, the anchor. You had Dami Digital, colorist, right? You had assistant artist. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So studio doesn't say what studio that's from.
No, doesn't say. No.
Yeah, it's cut off there. But yeah, you got a letter. At the end of the day, it feels like it's Gene's son. Just do whatever you're told and just get your check and walk away. Which kind of feels like what Marvel and DC Comics is today. It's like, get your check, get your name on the book, and walk away. Go create your own thing.
Don't get involved in the creation or the brainstorming on it or everything. It's like a sausage sausage machine. You put the meat, you turn off the how you call it, the manivelle, and the sausage come out like the comics. The comics is like that.
Yeah, it's like that scene from The Wall, right? When it's what is it like? When the kids are at school, right? They shove all the kids into the grinder. That's
school,
and they all pop out the same.
Yeah, exactly that.
And a whole ass studio who helped him make this comic. Why didn't they say anything to Nick? Or maybe it was these people who showed Nick these mangas. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating at this point, but it seems that this could have been prevented well before this book hit the printers. I don't see why Nick didn't just hire an artist, or why the publishers didn't say something about his artwork, because even if he didn't rip off like Bleach, the artwork isn't very good in this comics.
And like we're saying, like he could have hired a teacher, right? His dad could have paid for a teacher and a professional artist. I'm sure there'll be a whole bunch of artists out there who would be like, okay, I'll take a part-time job teaching your son. All right, you're Gene Simmons. It'd be great for me.
It's like a win and win situation. Like, hey, dude, like I'm teaching Gene Simmons' son how to draw. I can spend time with Gene Simmons. Sometimes he comes around and talks to me like, wow, like.
That reminds me of like Hulk Hogan. There was like this whole thing where like this guy was just hanging out with the Hulk Hogan's daughter or something, because Hogan, right? He could hang out because he was a fan or something, and it was like, it's just being in the same presence kind of thing. But yeah, man, like he could have written the book, he could have given the idea, and like and had paid somebody else to do it. It wouldn't even have been that expensive, but that they can afford it, right? It's like it's not going to cost him $1 million to get an artist to do 6 issues on a comic book, and he would have had his name on there, right? Created by and written by, and the artwork would have been friggin' amazing. Imagine somebody getting paid $30K US or something, $40K, $50K, whatever, getting the best artist to do that. And at the end of that, it could have been a hit without all this bullshit, because he ripped everybody else off, right? I mean, that's straight from Bleach, man. Look at that.
Yeah,
right.
Like everything.
So I don't know. I appreciate you guys watching the video to the end. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. I'm on my way to 4K subscribers, so I appreciate everybody who's new to subscribing, who has been subscribing. I appreciate everybody who's watched all my videos. I've been getting so much love and views on these last couple videos, and I feel really great. And I appreciate everybody who's supported me. If you don't know, or you're new here, I am a comic book creator myself. I recently put out a comic called Tit for Tat, which is a horror comic about what your imaginary friend would do if you were being violently bullied. So go check that out. I have copies for sale on my website. I also have a bunch of free comics you can download on my website as well. I recently put out a art book called Ink Slapper, which is a collection of art piece that I did all in November and December, drawings that was recommended by you, the viewers. There's a bunch of characters that I drew through I think it was like
2. Check out Kova's channel. Let me see, get my link there. But that was a pretty cool we put out there. So that's Kova's Lookout is the name of his channel. So that's pretty cool. But see, I wouldn't, like, without him putting that out 2 days ago, I would have no clue about this whole idea with that his, Gene's son had done this, was like 15 years ago. But after watching that, right, and decided to do, hey, we need to cover this. Well, I should cover this. I went and looked up some more stuff about him, and I found that he's trying to or is it this one that he's trying to start up. Oh, wait, hold on, it's Instagram, isn't it? Yeah, so he's changed his name. Wait. and they let me bring up this so that, because of course, you know, his name is Dirt right now, Nick Simmons, you know, because of all that happened, his name is Dirt. So now Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley's son, right, got together to do a Simon and Garfunkel song. Let me see, where is it? And this is recent. This is like about a couple months ago. Where are we? Yeah, 16th of December. Now, where is that video? Here it is. So let me just. Hold on. All right. Let me bring that up so you guys can watch this. You know, it's not bad, right? But remember this, the guy had to change his name because he was caught stealing from other, you know, from manga artists.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seed while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted.
Paul Stanley's son sings better, right? Yeah. I was checking that. I was like saying, who is singing what? So that's Paul Stanley's son, and this is Nick Simmons, the guy who we're talking about, right? And you can see that he's actually, he should stay away from this dude, because he on his own would do really well, right?
Yeah.
Paul Stanley's son, and Paul Stanley is the Star Child, right? And he's the one with the star on his face in the Kiss universe. But yeah, it's frustrating, you know, to see people who've got everything handed to them and don't even have to struggle for anything, born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Yet they want to rip off people who had, you know, had to struggle for everything to get what they are. And it's worse when they do it to manga artists, because they, you know, it's a different whole, you know, it's a different ball game there. It's like, it's not the same way that American comic book industry works, right? And it's the history of it's like, it's not the greatest. It's like, it's a monopoly that's controlled so unfairly. And you know, I was looking into that a little while back, and I was just like, damn, you know, I'm glad I'm not you know, I'm not over there and having to deal with that, because I'd go nuts. But you know, but all those guys, right? All those guys create amazing works, you know, and they put all their effort into you know, all their work and all their time and energy into creating that one thing.
Coming right there.
Yeah, and creating that one.
Right.
Yeah, and I did have Saint Seiya there somewhere, but I was packing these box containers away the other day, and so they're all like in action figures all there, and I'm like, yeah, okay, well, yeah, but I have Saint Seiya there, this little figure like this big. But you know, it's really sad to, you know, because like I said, they you know, the Bleach artist and creator has only got Bleach, or maybe another book, right? Or you or who's the other guy who passed away recently from you know, with the big sword,
Berserk. Yeah.
Berserk, right?
The
you
guy
know,
from I forgot his name. Yeah,
yeah. So
it's,
yeah,
it's not Murata. Murata is One Punch Man. I forgot the name.
okay. Let me just find out like who. Berserk manga. I think it's a Kai something.
Hmm?
Kentaro Muara.
Miura, yeah, Kentaro Miura. Yes, that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He
It's
was
not his.
like,
Yeah, he lost his hair and then he passed away, wasn't it?
yeah,
The
yeah, but
scratch.
he was like a really good friend with the. I think was with the author from Slam Dunk. I think he was like a really good friend also. But it's that thing like I think he didn't went to the doctor because he didn't have the time to go for the job, and he also
Right.
is that thing that it's like in an endless cycle because you put your work, you start to get sick, you have to stop. People get angry because you went to a hiatus because you don't feel well. Then you go back to work some more. People get happy again, and it's like, oh, you get sick again, even quicker than before. So you have to
Yeah.
start. You have to stop before, and another hiatus again. And it's like that. And the poor guy just passed away because he was like really, really sick.
That's the thing. That's what I mean, like about the whole monopoly of it. It's like they want you got to get it in there. You got to get in there, and then you got the fans, right, who don't understand, and they're like, oh, and then they're right on. It's like, why isn't, where is it? Where is it? It's like yeah, it really sucks, and I think, and this is why I
I
don't
think
like. This is why I don't like comic artists, especially American comic artists, put down. Put down manga because they know it's a competition and they know the competitor manga is winning against comics, and so they have to do anything to like try to make you not buy it. But anybody who reads manga actually enjoys it, so you can't actually, unless you do something really good, you're not going to make anybody go away from manga ever, because manga is, it's quality, and it's like the story is what people, they, the art can be slightly excused, and because it's a style, but the story is what grabs you, right? Why do you think Demon Slayer works so well, right?
exactly.
What?
And some people like see it
Yeah,
like oh, they're like cartoons, they're not realistic, so it's for children,
yeah,
it's for babies. It's like not at all. Like you watch, for example, Trigun. I was looking at the Trigun manga, the from Bash and
right,
Stampede.
yeah,
And you see, like it's a bit weird, but you say, oh, big eyes, like really stylized kind of drawing and everything.
Oop,
Yeah, how do you call it that one? Oh, I forgot the name. Overlord.
Overlord,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and
Um, or
I've got
even if
like, carry on.
yeah, no, even if you watch, for example, the Goblin Slayer or I'm trying to get into another manga. Oh well, from the same author from Trigon, you have no, yeah, Gungrave. Yeah, that it's more like a anime based on a video game.
Hmm.
That one. Oh yeah. Hmm.
You got that, and then of course my all-time forever favorite,
Ah, Motoko Kusanagi. Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell. I've got two of it. The other one's, the other one's got a bit of color on her. But what was it like? And my favorite ones up there, ReZero, Ren from ReZero, and then of course ReZero, Sword Art Online's up there, and where is it? You know, Oops, I got her because she looks like one of my characters, not the clothing, but like the with the tail and with the wings. She looks like Sangyum. She's a character from my R18 book, which is a horror, very adult horror comic that we're putting out. later sometime. What was I going to say? But yeah, I don't know. I'm always like particular about art because I grew up drawing and then after I lost the use of my hand and the feel, or constantly being in pain because there's like the tendons are like always sore. The feeling it's it's and that's like since '94, man. Like my hand's been screwed up since '94, and I can still feel like sensation, like just there. It's like how you have a funny bone. I feel that constantly. Yeah, it's never come right, and so I stopped drawing because my fingers used to get stuck, and so now I use a tablet, right? So I bought like the third one because I was going to give this away to one of my nephews so they could draw. So I bought a little tiny one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's a little Wacom. So I actually got the second hand. Cost me $50 New Zealand. Like these, like still around about a couple $100. But the problem with
I work with one of that. I still have one of that. It's the only one that I have. The tablet. It's like I don't have the new one with the monitor in it, with all the things like the tablet. So
So I bought one nephew one of those, and I ruined the pen, so I replaced it with another one, and then I've been looking for the pen to replace that one because I have 3 tablets now, but I have only 2 pens. So that one has its pen, and then I have the large my one that I originally got was in like about 2010, and then this is the one that goes with this, and so for beginner, it's pretty good. The Wacoms are pretty good, but like you said, like the Intuos, right? Like with the screen on it. I'm thinking about like getting one for myself because I think it might help me get back into drawing. If I can draw on the paper itself and I can look at it, I might get back into drawing, and it's something I've been thinking about. But then it's like, I have so many amazing artists, right? And why do I need to do that myself? And whoops.
Well, I think some people here want to see how one of your drawings, maybe. So keep it open. So you don't say.
No, I rather everybody sees what I come up with and have other artists draw that. I think that's a fantastic way because I think it's allowing somebody else to, to be able to enjoy. So yeah, it's gone over there. No, it's got on the 43-inch. Hold on, let me grab that out so I can show you some of the work here that we're looking at. Are you coming? Yeah, you're coming. There you are. So yeah, so this is the latest pages that came this morning, like I was saying, from Incarnate. It's colored. So there's that one there. And then there's this one here. And,
oh, that's amazing.
So it's yeah, I was just saying, like, because like how we say, like, go back and have a look at this to the colorist going, hey, look, can you have a look at that? That doesn't look right. Everything is perfect, but like that just sticks out. And so that's something that, like, when you got an artist to do that, and it's not an AI, when you got an artist, you can actually go, this is where I'm looking at, and you go, hey, this is the area, right? That kind of things out, and boom, you give that, give the little image to this artist, and he's like comes back with you within like a couple of minutes or whatever time, right? And it's good to go. And the next one, right? We've got this one here. Let me get rid of the text, and because we've got this one here. It was Robot Nation, and we're releasing this in like about 3 different languages. So you got the English, right? Let me go back and go in a bit closer, and then let me get rid of that. Here we go. That's better. So, right. So you got the English, right? And then you get rid of that. Then you got the Portuguese. And then you got Spanish. Tomas, this is the one you translated to Spanish, right?
Let me see. I can see it from the phone.
Sorry. No. Did you translate to Portuguese or did you translate to Spanish?
No, Spanish.
Yeah. So this is the other thing. Like when you're working with an artist, I actually asked, Tomas to actually translate this comic book, which is a one-shot, 44 plus, 44 pages of artwork or something like that, and or is it 44 pages all up? 2 short stories, right? So there's our Italian artist, our American Portuguese Puerto Rican, I think, Puerto Rican colorist from America, and then we had a Argentinian and a Brazilian do the translations. So like I was saying, like this, we got the English, right? Papa, what happened to you, Bobo? Right? What happened to Bobo? All right, and then you've got like, I don't know how to read that, but it goes, Papa, o cuideo na bobo, o quel ela ficou tão mal. That's how I would spell it because I'm trying to sound it out. But I'll get you, Tomas, to read the Spanish.
No, I can't read from here. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So this one says, Papa.
Yeah. Papá, ¿qué pasó con Bobo?
See?
¿Por qué hizo eso? Tenemos que apretarlo.
So
yeah, that's all
cool. It's cool, eh? Like basically seeing it like all translated into 3 different languages. I thought that's what I'm looking. When we release this book, it'll be totally completed and it'll be ready to go, ready to be in your hands as soon as like Kickstarter clears it out and goes, here's the money, go print, and we'll go print, pay the printer, and then we process it, send it out to you guys. But yeah, I mean, like we've had so many people work on this with the cover art and stuff, which I'm really happy about. I'm grateful for having so many people come in with the coloring. So
like people can see the real work behind the comic book, because it's like like with Marvel, DC, and the big companies, like you only see like the printed comic in your hands, but you don't see the people behind that. Well, maybe Marvel and DC, they have like millions of workers over there, but in an indie comic, it's like a small group, everybody working, everybody putting their hearts. It's like a really tough and enjoyable job.
Creating art, man.
Yeah,
it's not magic.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we got like something about 6-7 covers we're going to be putting out. But yeah, with Robot Nation, which is going to be the first one we put out, right? We did it last year and it wasn't completed, and then it didn't actually succeed doing, didn't get more than 500. So I had to rethink, and I was getting paying for the coloring and stuff and getting it all sorted. And we got some artwork done. So I decided I'm going to put in some artwork and posters in it as well. We had some, Christian Zaffo with his own work. He's a comic book writer and creator and artist himself, and he did a pin-up. So I colored it and we put a little story to include that in there. So you can see there's 2 different stories in this. There's the Robot Nation, and then there's also the Trouble with Bobo. So yeah, there's 2 short stories, but like lots of amazing stuff. We're going to slim down the amount of covers we put out. So we're going to put the English, Spanish, and Portuguese, and then a couple covers for and a wraparound. But yeah. The other thing is you looks like carry on, Tomas.
It looks amazing. Like it's like a how you call it in English? It's like a hug to the heart when you see like all the work and everything like getting out. Like, oh my god, this is like satisfying, but it in a deeper level. Like, oh, I'm really proud of this. Like,
yeah, man. Like we all put in so much work. Like I said, like this. You got the art, me writing, creating, right, and doing the lettering and designing all that. But then you got Francisco Conti, amazing artist, do the artwork, right? And then you've got the Inca. Did he? What? Yeah, I think Francisco inked his own work, and then also you had Edwin, right? The Artex, Badillo. He did the coloring. Now that's just the 3 of us. Then you've got the variant cover artists and pen-up artists, and then you've also got and there's about 4 of those or 5. And then you've also got the 2 translators. So it's like a team of like about at least 10 people that worked on this that I'm aware of. And they all, to put one-shot book out, because I want to turn this one-shot book into a ongoing series, right? So that each one is like, the next one's going to be like a 2-parter. And then the next one after that will be a one-shot or a figure, like a 60-page book standalone, but it's like all part of the same sort of idea of robots and human being interactions. So yeah, so the first story, which is Trouble with Bobo, is in space, and the other one is Robot Nation, which is title story, which is on Earth, and it's in New Zealand. So we were getting work started on this first one. Oh, sorry, on the second one, and let me bring up this little image here. Wait, did I do anything with that? Hold on, I know what I did before I cancel anything. It's this one, right? No, it's this one. That one. That one. All right, so go back to English, save. Cool. Now I can open it up. Full color. It's coming. I feel like I need to like put more RAM into my computer. There it is.
For the memory.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Look at this art from like issue 2. We're looking at some sample work.
It looks amazing.
Yeah. So the story for that one is a 2-part story, but each comic book comes with 2 stories, and there's a short story, then there's like a continuing story for the next issue, and this one's called and that story like it's called Fang and Fur.
It looks so awesome.
This is his second design on it. The first one was, yeah, it was he wasn't happy with it himself, and he said like I want to redesign it. Yeah, it's just man, like look at the actual like mechanisms, it's just amazing. The work is put into this, man. It's like
and knowledge, like checking out mechanisms and machines and everything is like to make it fit.
I love I like each, like sometimes you go like, oh, everyone's my baby, but some babies are a bit more special, when you're writing a story. And the thing is like it's like the next one's the special one, right? And the next one's a special one. It's like you basically, it's like having pregnant, right? When you're pregnant with a child, you're like, okay, well, not males, but the wife, but and you're like waiting for it to grow up or waiting it to be delivered, and you suddenly said, oh, now it's great, okay, next one. It feels like that with this one. I'm like, okay, can't wait for the next one now that we got the other one out. He's just such a great artist on this work, man. I'm like so excited to have this in people's hands. Such an amazing book. Of course, we've got we've got also Andrade, not Andrade, Luis, right, with his Howler series, and he's close to inking, I think, finishing the first issue. Thing was that we worked 2 issues at the same time, because I was trying to get this trying to make it so I understood what was happening later. I tried to work out what was happening later. So with the characters we created for the new for issue 1, we actually had a good idea where we wanted to go with issue 2. So yeah, so it's kind of that. But the other one I should mention here is with for those people who've never seen or watched us talk about this, is this book here, which is Zealandia. Let me open it up. Zero.
Is that a blue pencil drawing over there on the side of the map?
Yeah. Oh no, I just turned it blue so we can see it. Like let me. At first, I'm like, we weren't going to turn this into color, but like, where is it? But then, But Joachim, our sweetest artist, basically said, well, you know, I've been trying to do some coloring, and what do you think? I said, it's great. I said, yeah, we should do coloring. I said, let's go. You know, because this is like our you know, we were talking about Lord of the Rings earlier, but this is like my Narnia, Lord of the Rings, and Isekai sort of thing that we're doing. But this is all going to be colored.
Wow.
I'm just, yeah.
How is that he do so many details? Like, how he do it?
Dude, I asked him to come and work for, I mean, like, you know, I saw his dragon and that was it. So this is his colored piece here. This is the opening page. So yeah, that's, oh, where did I have it? Oh, I think I put it away. But like this, like I had like the design for the character. I've got inspired. I mean, it's the whole idea came from a dream, but like the design for the character got inspired from a action figure. On the look and stuff, but we changed the look a lot. Open. Let me just bring up a bit more of them characters. I think this is a good one. The city. Yeah, look at this.
And all of this is traditional pen and ink.
All pen and ink. Pencil, pen and ink, yeah.
It's like a double standard, like double the merit. It's like, do you have digital artists? Okay, yeah. You know how to draw, you use a machine, but then you have these guys like, yeah, old school pencil, pen and ink, like.
Yeah. And it's just, it's the hard work, right? I mean, it's like the talent, the skill, and like I've been saying, right, for this past couple of months, it's like we're not releasing anything on Kickstarter because we're going to release this for Kickstarter, right? But we're not going to release it until it's 100% finished. Like everything is finished. It's not like, hey, pay us now and we'll get the book to you when it's time, you know, when you get it done. No, our book will be finished before we even can hit Kickstarter now from going forward. Like I made a mistake last year with Robot Nation, and I was like, yeah, I should have got this finished, and so there wouldn't be any waiting. And you know, here we are in January, and if that thing, I would have got it to people, but like I think it's better if I have the book complete, because it's about a confidence things now. And I think a lot of people, because they either haven't got their books to people or have taken the money and run, or they've taken years to get their books, has turned a lot of people from supporting new creators like myself and like yourself, Tomas. I've been listening and watching a lot of people talk about this, and they've just said, like, we won't know how bad support for crowdfunding is for creators, new creators, and for at least a decade, because we'll realize that all those people that were like very happy to support, handing over millions of dollars, you know, tens of millions of dollars over to people out all around the world and never getting a book, you know, they will never support anybody ever again. Like I'm sure there's people that will never support us because of that, you know.
Those people at the beginning, they didn't want to sell the book, they want money, that's all. Like
yeah,
it's sad because the people like lose confidence or lose the trust on the small companies like us. Like, and it's like we do the hard work and everything, and because of one person, everything goes to trash because it's a bad experience. Like,
but Tomas, it's not one person though. It's like hundreds. It's hundreds of them, man. And that's the same thing.
It's the example that I wanted to make. It's like because of. It's like when you are in the class, and because of one funny guy, everyone is like in the attention. It's like.
Yeah, so like, yeah, basically, right? Yeah, you're right there. Like, so one, you know, the Joker, the clown, whatever, the bully, everybody else's day is ruined. And this is what it feels like. You know, there's a lot of bullies out here in indie comics, and there's a lot of jokers, and there's a lot of people who are like stopping other people from getting ahead because by not like not doing what their part is, not holding up their end, and ruining it for everybody else who are like trying and working just as hard. And it just
Yeah,
sucks, man.
or maybe not only in the for example Kickstarter or the indie comics industry, but maybe some people who want to start to draw or to learn how to draw, they get into something and because it happened to me. Like I went to some drawing school classes and somebody says, "Oh, you don't know how to draw hands. Oh, you're so lame." Like it's like they want to stop you from learning because I think they see you like a menace sometimes. This is my thoughts, and I think it's happened the same here. Like it's some people in Kickstarter, they see you like oh, this guy is the competition, so I have to make something so I can win, and they make this kind of threats and things that they end up getting everyone else.
Well, the other thing here is right. Like I was I was listening to a podcast. I should say a live stream, right? I wasn't on it or anything like that. So I was listening to this podcast, and there was a guy who was sharing his artwork, and he was doing fan art, right? And he was just, just like when I was like in about 20 years ago, I would just paint oil paintings, acrylic. I would just give them away, like big things like that, like seriously big paintings on a frame, on canvas, oil paintings. I'll just give them away. I don't have the room. I don't need it. I put all my time and effort into it. Here you go. Here's a gift. So, and he's doing that with his art. He said, well, I don't, and then there's people thinking, oh, you shouldn't do that, bro. You shouldn't. It's like, but dude, he's just enjoying it. It's like artists, not every artist is doing this out here for the big bucks. Some people are just doing it for fun. Some people are doing it for money. Some people are doing it for fame, right? So that their work is out there, more people get to see it, and so their demand goes up. All they care about is to get one book printed because that's the one book they want printed, and to see it done out there, or with a one story, or have their one cover on a book, or what happened with us last when we put out Kickstarter, when we put out our last when we put our first issue of Incredible, a guy paid money to have his character in our comic book. Man, that was freaking amazing. It was our first comic book on Kickstarter, and somebody paid to have their original character just in the background, to show up. And we said, this is where it's going to be, are you okay with it? Because the entire book was already made, and it was the last minute we thought, well, what, maybe we can offer this, maybe somebody will be into it. And now that person gets to hold that comic book forever, knowing that their creation, right, is in that comic book published out there in the world. And that's all they wanted, right? And not everybody wants the same thing as everybody else wants. And so, you got to realize that everybody has different needs, and if those needs are fulfilled, they're happy. All I care about is just to get this work done with my artist, do the best I can, and get it in print into people's hands so they can read it. I don't care if personally I make money off it or any profit, as long as the artist gets it, right? For me, I don't mind, as long as these books are out there and that people enjoy them and they read them, because it's what I always wanted to do, was to be a storyteller. And if my story is told, I don't mind anything else.
And I think that it's the long game. Like if you have to make things only for the price of something, like for example, you want to make a kickboxer, for example, and you only do kickboxing because you want to be like a champion, only to want to win medals and everything. That's gonna take you like maybe some part of your life, because later on you're not going to be able to compete because you get old, you get injuries, you're not the same, you're not fast enough. But for example, you keep growing up like, okay, I love kickboxing, I'm going to compete. Oh, now that I'm getting old, I'm going to open a school of kickboxing and I'm going to teach people kickboxing. And you keep like
exactly
on the long term. And also I remember when I started to drawing, I wanted to be like that. Oh yeah, I want to be like the next Jim Lee. I want to be famous and rich. And no, dude, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Check of reality, boom. And now it's like I enjoy it. Like the joy of telling a story, sharing with people, having a good time with you working and everyone else in PlungeCast. It's like it's even better.
Yeah. And the other, I mean, for me, like, I mean, it's just at the end of like I said, it's all about storytelling. Like I went to film school to learn how to make a filmmaker to tell my stories. I went, you know, I was doing stage production and doing writing productions, scripts for stage plays, whatever you want to call it, for about 4 years before I even went to film school. 4 or 5 years before I even went to film school. You know, and then 3 years of film school, and then all it was about just like, can I tell a story? You know, can I make up a story? Can I tell the story? Can I tell it right enough for people to enjoy? And I think if you can find that one thing and you stick with that one thing that brings you joy, then nothing else feels like it's work anymore. Like it doesn't feel like work. You know, you get to enjoy it. I mean, this is with Louise, right? You know, his work on Howler. You know, it's you know, bringing the character to life, and then by him drawing this car, a Mustang, I've started having a love for the car, the Mustang car, because I thought it was really cool what he was doing.
Yeah, the Mustang car, like the old cars, like amazing.
Yeah. Just
and also that like that James Dean vibe kind of scene, like you show with the bike, like
yeah. Hold on, let me bring that one up. I think it's issue 2, so I guess
you have to make that car. You have to make a card out of that, like a small poster thing, like a small print, like it's because it's awesome. It's like
you mean like a poster and a trading card?
Yeah, or a sticker, small sticker, like.
Let me see. I'll have to get him to why am I not seeing it where I should be seeing it? Here it is. Right. It's 4. I think it's 4. Let me see if it cover 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it's 4, 5. So it must be 4. Actually, I'll bring up the whole lot because this is what I mean by for Howler. We're working on 2 issues, right? So we're working 1 and 2 at the same time, because it's a 12-issue series, but each arc each arc is like about 3 issues. So I wanted to make sure that we had a good idea of where we were like creatively and artistically going with this. It's almost here. There it is.
Yeah.
So is it the one? Oh no, that's not the one. Hold on. This is the sample thing. Page setup. It's not the actual page. Go where you.
Where is it? Where is it?
It's here somewhere. I just got to figure out where. I didn't put it on the group. Yeah, it's me. Like, I need to clean up, but I don't like to lose anything now. So I have double ups of double ups, and it kind of causes me problems trying to find out where things are. Okay, that's 1, 2. Maybe it's in pencils. Oh no, I was wrong. We're on the right one.
Let's see.
We've always been on the right one. It's like, yeah, I just didn't have it open. I thought it was an issue 2, but it's not. So this is it here. This is really cool. Him on his bike. Yeah,
that's
this is
the one.
Yeah. Waiting for him to ink. Yeah, waiting for him to ink it. So it's like pencils, right? So it's just pencils. I guess like his I mean, he does it digitally, but like basically what you call pencils. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's like a small sticker of that. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Like, it was pretty cool. And then you've got him here in front of the house. And then riding down the street. I remember this just brings me memory of like when I was at my second year at what you guys in the US called middle school. Or, like I was like 14 or 15. I had to go out and we had to do like live drawing of a scenery for art class. And I remember drawing a dude on a motorbike, and that's what I drew him as, like just going down the road, because that's our high school was basically off the main road. It's Bayvon's College, and I just went out there by the bus stop and was just watching this guy. And as I was drawing it, this guy on the motorbike went past. Don't even know what happened to drawing, but that just reminded me of it. Didn't even think of that in like freaking 40 years, 30 years, 35 years. Yeah, it must have been about 15 or something, 14. Yeah. All right, I think that does it for us today. Just
I think so.
But so carry on, Tomas.
No, you have the choice. It's your show.
Oh no, I thought you were going to add something before we finish.
No, I think it's okay. Like, remember, everybody, have your own ideas. Don't worry if everybody says like, "Oh, it's so silly, so stupid." Make it your own. Work it, because hard work pays. It's true. It's not. There's nothing more satisfaction. How do you call it? There's nothing more cool and that feels good that when you manage to own your own craft. Like when you have this difficult thing and you're, I made it.
Yeah.
It's like, so cool. I remember one teacher told me like confidence is when you can make something that you couldn't make before. So right. For example, in the art industry, when I don't know how to draw hands. Yeah, but I remember when I couldn't draw feet, and now I draw feet. So it's gonna happen the same with the hands. Yeah. And that's when you build things, and it's enjoyable. It's so good.
Practice. It's not magic, right? Art isn't magic. It's not friggin' something just God-given, whatever you want to say it. Like, so it's all out there. No, it's all out here. here, and here. These three things is what makes art happen. Your brains, your eyes, I guess your brains. No, yeah, your brains, four things: your brains, your hands, and your eyes, right? You get that right coordination.
And your heart too. You put your heart in it, like,
and you get cool things happening. Like the head came off.
Yeah.
And you can draw really awesome stuff. This is from a manga called Overload from Japan. I actually thought it was something weird when I didn't even know what it was. And then when I watched the first episode, I fell in love with it, and I've watched every single episode to where I actually have the T-shirts right in the cupboard, and then I also went and bought her because I like her character a lot.
And soon we're going to have some Howler figures, Incredible figures, Tortoise figures. It's going to be on there.
Well, where is it? I thought I had a white one there, but like we did do a little, this is supposed to be painted, but we did do a 3D imaging of Incredible chibis. But decades to come, man. Hopefully, we get somewhere. But at the end of the day, all that matters is that a comic gets into your hands. Into my hands, and it's out there. The story's out there, and the artwork's out there. All right, that does it for today. Thank you both. Thank you, Tomas. Thank you, everybody else who's watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with us. Sorry about the noises and all that.
Sorry for me popping in and out. Sorry for the connection here.
Yeah, but wherever you are, be well, be safe, and remember, AI is not where you want to go with artwork. Information, medical, all that other stuff's great for AI, but not for art. Create with your hands, man. And digitally, if you don't want to use pen and paper, digital tablet, as long as it's your hands that are doing it, right? It's still art. It's not it's not code, putting words into text into shit to make it work up. Regurgitate stuff. But thank you. I'll catch you on the flip side. Wherever you are, be well, be safe. Thank you, Tomas. We'll catch you later, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, and have a good day, night, or whatever. So, cheers.
Bye, all. Thank you for hanging out with us.